Hello, this lesson is on finding and converting metric masses. So first we're going to review some powers of 10 and multiples of 10. So our first problem here, we have 83 times 100. You can do this problem in many different ways. One way I like to think about it is 83 times 1, which you get 83. Then you add your two zeros, so 8,300. Another way to think about this problem is taking 83 and putting your decimal point to the right of the ones place where it belongs. And since you're timesing it, you're going to move your decimal point to the right, and you're going to move it right two spots because there's two zeros in 100. 1, 2, and fill those empty spots with zeros, and you still get 8,300. Please get out something to do these next three problems on yourself. Please pause the video, allow time for students to do these problems. All right, for the next problem, we have 13 and 1500ths times 1,000. So you can do 13 and 1500ths. And since you're multiplying, you're going to move your decimal to the right. And since there's 1, 2, 3 zeros in 1,000, we move it 3 spots. 1, 2, 3 spots. So you get 13,150 as your answer. For the third one here, we have 59 divided by 100. Where does our decimal point belong in 59? Yes, the decimal point belongs to the right of the ones place. And now we need to move it to the left because we are dividing. And we need to move it to the left 2 spots because there's 2 zeros in 100. So to the left, 1, 2 spots. And we get 5900ths as the answer. And for the last one here, we have 17 and 4500ths. Again, we need to move the decimal to the left because we were dividing by now 1,000, so 3 spots. So go over 1, 2, 3. What goes in this empty space here to the left of the 1? Who can tell me that? Yes, that would be a 0. So your answer is 1,745 looks like 10 thousandths. That's a very, very, very small number. All right, so again, we're doing metric units today, just like before. And a metric unit is another way to measure the length, the mass or weight, and capacity of something. And again, who uses the metric system, boys and girls? Yes, the rest of the world basically uses the metric system along with science branches and medicine. So we're pretty much the only ones using the customary system. All right, the metric units of mass, we have grams, milligrams, and kilograms. Who thinks they know the smallest metric unit of mass? Look at the prefixes to help you out here. Yes, we got milligrams is the smallest. Then a gram is your base unit. And then a kilogram is the largest. So from smallest up top to the largest at the bottom there. All right, let's talk about a milligram now. A milligram is the smallest unit of mass in the metric system. 1 milligram is about the same mass as 1 grain of sand. So over here in this picture, we have a person holding up sand, and you see lots of little sand grains falling between his fingers or her fingers. Every grain of sand, every little grain has a mass of about 1 milligram. So a milligram is very, very, very small. All right, and therefore a milligram is used to find the mass of very small objects. So if you're trying to find the mass of something that's very, 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 very small, you'd want to use milligrams. Next up we have a gram, and a gram is our base unit for the metric system of mass. And a gram is still very, very small. A gram is still a very small unit to measure mass with. And a gram consists of 1,000 milligrams. So imagine holding 1,000 pieces of sand in your hand, okay? It seems like a lot, 1,000, but yet sand is so small that would be very, very, very light still. All right? And you can think of a golden gram has a mass of about 1 gram. That's about, again. So here we have a box of golden grams. But if you look right here, we have 1 golden gram. That would have the mass about 1 gram. That kind of makes sense. On to kilogram now. Again, the prefix kilo means 1,000. So we're thinking about 1,000 grams here. So 1,000 of those little squares of golden grams. And a kilogram has a mass of about 2 boxes of golden grams. So therefore there are 500 individual squares of golden grams there and 500 here, which will add up to 1,000 grams, which would equal 1 kilogram. Does that kind of make sense, boys and girls? So every golden gram has a mass of about 1 gram. We need 1,000 of those to equal 1 kilogram. All right, let's get back to our metric staircase now. So our metric staircase is what we use to convert within our metric units of mass. Students, you copy this down at your own desk as well. Remember, boys and girls, there are 7 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The very, very, very bottom step is milli for milligram. We're not going to use a centigram. There is a centigram, but we're not going to go through it here in 5th grade. So you're going to skip the next 2 steps and go to your base unit of gram. And you're going to again skip the next 2 steps and go to your largest measurement, a kilogram. Remember, as you go down the metric staircase, you are multiplying by a power of 10. As you go up the metric staircase, you're dividing. So, we have, in the first problem, we have 5,000 milligrams to grams. Let's think about that big to small, small to big stuff that we use in order to figure out if we're multiplying or dividing. So a milligram is really, really small, going to a gram, which isn't that big, but it's bigger than a milligram. So we're going from small to big. And we go from small to big, we need to divide. So here we have 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams. And if I remember right, we're going up to grams, right? Yes, up to grams. So we have 500 milligrams, and we need to take him on up to grams. How many steps does he need to go up to get there? Well, he starts here, so you got to go 1, 2, 3 steps. And every step is a power of 10. So this would be 10 to the first, 10 to the second, 10 to the third. So we need to divide, because we're going up, by 10 to the third. So we have, for this problem, 5,000 divided by 10 to the third. And that'll give us our amount of grams. How much is a 10 to the third, boys and girls? Yes, 10 to the third is just 1,000. So we have 5,000 divided by 1,000. Well, that's pretty simple. 5,000 divided by 1,000 is 5 grams. For the next problem, we have 4,000 grams equals blank kilograms. So here we're going from small to big again. And we have 4,000 grams to kilograms. That's right, what we have. 4,000 grams. So that would go on our base unit line. So we have grams, 4,000 of them. And we need to go up to kilograms of 1, 2, 3 steps. So again, that's 10 to the third power. And we are dividing. So we have now, again, 4,000 divided by 10 to the third power. So boys and girls, we're basically taking 4,000, again, divided by what? Yes, we're taking 4,000 divided by 1,000. Because 10 to the third is just a 1 with 3 zeros. Or 10 times 10 times 10. So 4,000 divided by 1,000 is just 4 kilograms. All right, here for the last problem we have here, We have 9 grams to milligrams. So now we're going from big units to small units, which means we need to multiply. So it's going to be a little different. What was that? 9 grams to milligrams. So we're starting in the middle again because we have grams as our base unit. We have 9 grams. We're going to go down the metric staircase to milligrams. Remember, multiply going down. So we got to go all the way down to here. So we have to multiply by 10 to the first, 10 to the second, 10 to the third. We have to multiply by 10 to the third. So we need to multiply 9 times 1,000. Well, that's pretty simple. We have 9 times 10 to the third, which is the same as 1,000. So that just equals 9,000. Boys and girls, let's go ahead and do some of these together now. All right, on 873, number 5, we have 2,000 milligrams to grams. So milligrams are pretty small, going to grams, which are bigger than milligrams. So small to big, we multiply. So what are we multiplying by? Oh, I'm sorry, small to big. We divide. We divide. So what do we divide by? 2,000 milligrams to grams. 2,000 milligrams up to grams. Boys and girls, please use your metric staircase to try and figure out what we need to divide by since we're going up the metric staircase. What do we need to divide by? All right. We have 2,000 milligrams up 1, 2, 3 steps. So we need to divide by 10 to the third. Boys and girls, what is 10 to the third? What number is the same as 10 to the third? Remember, 10 times 10 times 10 would be 10 to the third. So we need to divide by 1,000. So we have 2,000 divided by 1,000. Do this with me, boys and girls. All right. And what is 2,000 divided by 1,000? Yes, your answer is just 2. Well, let's look at problem number 6 now. Here we have grams, which are bigger, and going to milligrams, which are smaller. So big to small, we need to multiply. So let's go back to our metric staircase. We have 80 grams to milligrams. $80 grams, we're going down to milligrams. Boys and girls, let's go ahead and have you do this problem by yourselves. All right, we have 80 grams, and we're trying to go down this time. We're trying to go down this time, so we need to multiply to milligrams. So we're going down 1, 2, 3 steps. Raise your hand if you think we have to multiply by 10 to the third power. All right, I hope your hand is in the air because yes, you do have to multiply by 10 to the third power, which is the same thing as multiplying by 1,000. So we have, in this problem, we have 80 times 1,000. So how do we do this? Is there any easy way? Well, yeah. We can just do your 8 times your 1, which is 8, and count your zeros. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So your answer is 80,000. I hope you got 80,000. All right, I'd like you to try number 11 all by yourself. So please pause the video, allow time for students to do number 11 all by themselves. All right, for number 11, we have grams to milligrams. So grams are bigger, milligrams are smaller, so we need to multiply again. Let's go back to our metric staircase, 4 7/100 grams. So 4 7/100 grams. I think we're going to milligrams, right? Yes, milligrams. We're going down to here. So we need to Boys and girls, how many steps is that? How many steps is that, and what are we multiplying by then? Yes, that is 3 steps. So 1, 2, 3. So we are multiplying by 10 to the third, or we're multiplying by 1,000. Either way you want to think of it. So let's use 10 to the third in this problem since there's a decimal. So we have 4 7/100 times 10 to the third power. What direction will I move my decimal and why? Please pause the video and ask this question. Yes, I need to move it to the right because I'm multiplying, and I need to do it 3 spots. So 1, 2, 3. Let me rewrite this somewhere else. Right here, 4 7/100. 1, 2, 3. And what goes in the empty spot? Well, a 0 does. So your answer is 4,070. 4,070 is your answer for milligrams. So 4 7/100 grams equals 4,070 milligrams. So boys and girls, that is all the lesson today.